Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, Pink Funk. Thinking right out here in my lap. Well, I do what I do for you. Let's go. Right in 25 was led by storytelling, story with a message and story for life. These are life lessons. I'm giving them. You tune in and receiving them. It's a good thing. Let's go. Right thinker's mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual disciplines daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission for my right thinkers. Your job is to know yourself. With these questions, answer this question for yourself. When you get at the end, you know you reached the point where you need to be, like me. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. Teach them. That's why I do what I do. I got you. A person who knows not and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. And read them. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. I have knowledge of self that will wake you up to yourself. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons, they reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my eye, be true. Today, we're going to talk about spiritual wisdom. Well, what's spiritual wisdom? Spiritual wisdom is waking up to yourself. You have knowledge and you are wise enough to realize who and what you are. So let's talk about it. Sorry about that. I get a little excited. You know how I do. But I do it for you. I give information, aka spiritual truths. That is what, if practiced and learned and live, will change your life. That's what it did for me. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Do the same thing for you. Spiritual wisdom comes from what? Your daily experiences. I learned something yesterday. So I put that in my toolbox for later on in the event I need to use that experience that I experienced myself. That's spiritual wisdom. Something that you experience, that you know for yourself. So when you give that information, you're giving it from what? Knowledge of it. Not somebody's speculation, not somebody's view and concept, from your experience. That's right thinking philosophy. That's all I teach. Experiences that I've encountered for myself. Only I can do it. Biblical knowledge is something I don't have. It's good if you're a belief system follower. I don't follow the belief system. I don't entertain religion. But when I'm fellowshipping, I fellowship with like-minded Christians. Understand that? And again, I'm learning biblical knowledge on a week-to-week basis because I have no use to do it on my own. I do what I do. When I go to fellowship, that's where I get my lessons from. Oh, trust me. It's a good thing. I will never talk against religion or anybody who's serving God. From your perspective, knock yourself out. We just have different perspectives. That doesn't mean we have to fight, or you're right and I'm wrong. No, it ain't about that. Spirit is what? The life force that's in us. And to know about that spirit is what right thinking philosophy goal is, to give you knowledge of that spirit that's inside you, aka God knowledge, spiritual knowledge, okay? I have spiritual wisdom. Knowledge that I've acquired, but the experience that I've used that knowledge for. So now I know because I chose to learn it and I implemented it, I mean I lived it. So now I can expound on it. I can tell you about it. Why? Because I know I have the knowledge and the wisdom to go with it so that I can explain it to somebody in depth if need be. Let's go. That's what teaching is all about. Spirituality. Now everybody, come on, be spiritual. Come on, yes, yes, yes. I don't have a problem with religion, but become spiritual. You can be religion after that. But start with spirituality, and if you got a religion you want to follow, then take your spirituality to that religion by all means. But get spiritual. Watch this. Spirituality is having spiritual truths and living them. Hence, The wisdom comes in from the experience. But if you have the knowledge, if you acquire the knowledge and you implement, aka use that knowledge, you will have everything you need to what they call being spiritual. Why? Because you're going to worship, you're going to pray and do the right thing in honor of your higher power. You ain't got to have a whole bunch of people telling you what to do. Why? You follow your higher self. Okay? That's intuitive knowledge. It's another lesson. But right now, being spiritual means you don't just holler, I'm a loving God. No. You learn, you understand, and you implement the things you learn. That's being spiritual. Being religious, watch this, don't make you spiritual. Being religiously wise don't make you spiritually wise. It just make you biblically wise. I'm Mayat wise. I got books that I study that I practice and profess. That's the difference. That's all. But it's all pertaining to what? Higher self. So whatever you get to make it to the top of that pyramid, I could care less how you got there. I'm there. So I'm just teaching those who want to follow me. I know how to get there. If you ain't up there, how do you tell somebody how to get there? If you there, you can help somebody else out. That's what I do for you. Watch this. Spiritual knowledge is the original self-knowledge, aka this one of the creed, know thyself. I ain't going there, but that's the concept. If you're spiritually enlightened, you have what? Spiritual knowledge, and that's God knowledge. You know about God. Simple. Now you got to do is implement it, and guess what? There lies the caveat. Why? Because it's called a mystical experience. For all you Bible thumpers, all you religious people, knowing the stories, understanding the myth is good. Practicing the ritual, fellowship, and coming to the synagogue, the temple, the church, whatever you do, that's good. But if you're not living it, if you're not implementing it in your daily life, what's the purpose? Most religious people just want to look spiritual. No, spiritual people care less about looking religious. Okay, I can care less about how I look. I do what I do. Watch this. We are all spiritual beings, but obtaining spiritual knowledge is needed in order for you to raise your consciousness to the next level, to become awakened, to become knowledgeable of self. Hence, Nihas, Christ-like, anointed. That's you and God becoming one. Back to what all them things. I make it real simple. I ain't got a whole bunch of stuff. No, real simple, make it easy for you. And ain't gotta be go by a whole bunch of names. All you gotta do is be done. Right thinking philosophy, aka Maya, divine lifestyle, living by your spiritual disciplines that's set forth. If you don't know the 42 negative confessions of Maya, that's cool. 10 commandments come from there. But it's all things that you need to do for yourself, that only you and your higher self is even concerned with. We're moving on. But that's what it's about. That spiritual knowledge is living for the higher level of understanding. Spiritual, watch this. Spiritual discipline is what? Learning about what? Your spiritual self, aka your higher self. I keep cutting this pie for you. I slice it in 8 different ways, and it's going to be the same pie, served a different manner, but it's the same pie. We think we know ourselves, and yes, but that's your ego self. That's not your higher self. Why? You have to learn and acquire knowledge to reach your higher self. You got to raise your consciousness. You got to raise your understanding and knowledge of self to reach that level. You're not born with it. You have to acquire it. I spent a lot of years, learning my spiritual truth. That's how it's done. That's how I know, and I lived them. So that gave me my wisdom and my experience that I can tell, show, and let you know. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to being spiritually enlightened. I'm proud of the way I live my spiritual truth. Try it for yourself. You might like it. I do this for you so you can take the information, implement it where you take what you need, implement it where you got it, and see how it works for you. If you're spiritually ignorant, you are not a right thinker. I'm all about spiritual awareness, spiritual knowledge, and being a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm not a human being with spirituality. No. Backwards. Spirit is first and last. Alpha, Omega, that's what the spirit is in the flesh. Alpha at birth, Omega at death. Why? Because it's going to leave and make itself available for something else. It don't die. That's why the human part will die. The physical part, that's it. The spiritual part lives on. That's why I teach you about the spiritual part. Why? Anybody, you can learn about that. I ain't a bodybuilder. I'm a spiritual builder. Here you go. God knowledge. Okay, no. If you master, watch this. Now, if you master right thinking philosophy, you will be wiser than most who think they know themselves and think they're so smart because they got theological knowledge, they got academic knowledge, but they don't have self-knowledge. So with self-knowledge, you trump them. So don't worry about it. Okay, don't feel inferior to them because they got degrees and all this nonsense. Don't really mean nothing. Watch this. This is why. I have God knowledge because what I learned and lived, so I became spiritually wise with knowledge of self, aka God. But the knowledge ain't what made it. Implementing it, experiencing it, that's the difference. When you practice right thinking philosophy daily, you gain what? Spiritual wisdom for who? Yourself. To be able to do what? Show, and if need be, teach others. Why? If you know it, you can show it, and you can also teach it. Self-mastery is having and using your spiritual knowledge to do what? Help others. I live by it, so I'm benefiting from it on a day-to-day basis, but I help others with it by giving it to them and hoping they can use the same way and benefit from it. That's why I do what I do for you. I want to help others gain self-mastery, hence right thinking. That's why I teach right thinking philosophy, for you to learn you and be your best self. Self-mastery is having every aspect of your character under your control. Not knowing who you are, not a master of self. Self-mastery is having every aspect of your character under control. Yes, I'm still practicing. Spiritual wisdom is learned how? From doing what? What's right? When? 24/7. I don't turn it off. I don't stop the process. The process, once began, can't be stopped. Knowledge, acquiring knowledge, becoming knowledgeable, and obtaining wisdom is something I live for every day. Okay? And once you get that hunger, it can never be filled. Why? Because you're going to keep on going. You're going to keep on going. That's the concept. Trust me. Last one, I preach you to tune in. Let me wrap this up for you. Now, with esoteric knowledge, which is the hidden knowledge, which is spiritual wisdom, which causes you to have spiritual wisdom. Once you acquire and understand and live out your esoteric knowledge that you acquire, now you have spiritual wisdom. That's the whole part of our right thinking philosophy to get you to that point for yourself. Let's go. I teach esoteric knowledge, hidden and symbolic knowledge. Why? Because that's what makes you think. That's what makes a little more impression. Signs and symbols, we don't always have words. So now, as I can do folklore, I can talk and express and give stories and analogies, so help you make you think and get and be able to comprehend the concepts that I'm setting forth philosophically, so then you can manifest them for yourself. Let's go. I studied over 30 years of the hidden secrets of our ancient ancestors, and I found out one thing. It still work. That's why I'm doing what I do right now, off of that concept. I dressed up a little bit, tweaked here and there, but yeah, I dusted off, polished it up a little bit. Again, a more positive attitude to what this most sacred phenomenon, knowledge of self, should be acquired. How you do that? You acquire it first, and then you teach others how to do the same. That's right thinking philosophy. Let's go. That's part of the game. Wisdom is having experience in that area and sharing what you know. I experienced God, so I'm sharing what I know about that. Trust me, I am a master at that. My spiritual wisdom is still growing with my daily experiences, but from the ones I already got, I teach that. Why? Because I got that in my pocket. I'm acquiring more so I can continue to teach more. That's why I don't stop. From the cradle to the grave, we acquire knowledge. Okay? Who better know themselves than somebody who getting better every day at learning themselves? Let me wrap this up. Right thinking philosophy is a spiritual alarm clock. I will wake you up with it. Why? That's spirituality, and that's right thinking philosophy's goal to make you spiritual. Okay? I'll be back. Thanks for tuning in.